All right, buckle up. It was a seriously wild week in the Muskiverse, and we absolutely have to talk about the insane, maybe company betting move Tesla might be pulling. This is one of those weeks where the whole long-term picture just gets a massive, kind of terrifying update. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to rip through the FSD grind, the usual. Then we're getting into the main event, this terafab idea that could change literally everything. After that, we'll hit the rest of the physical AI empire, and then we'll try to figure out the big takeaway from all this chaos.
So let's start with the software, right? The ghost in the machine. Full self-driving. It's on this slow, kind of weird march towards something that looks like autonomy. And man, this week was a perfect snapshot of that whole struggle.
On one hand, you're seeing these glimpses of actual, honest-to-God magic. This quote kind of says it all. FSD version 14 is finally on the Cybertrucks, and some of the early reviews are pretty damn good. We're talking assertive moves, smooth braking, those moments where the car just gets it in a way that really feels different. But for every bit of that magic, you get a dose of total baffling weirdness. We're now seeing a bunch of reports that version 14 has developed a brand new fear of leaves. A pile of autumn leaves in the road, and the car just slams on the brakes. So yeah, we're making progress on crazy unprotected left turns, but we're getting taken out by some foliage. Classic. And this just perfectly shows the disconnect between what's happening now and what's being promised. Even with the whole leaf problem, Elon dropped these absolutely bonkers scaling targets for the robotaxi fleet. He's talking over 500 cars in Austin, 1,000 plus in the Bay Area by the end of this year. We have less than 2 months left. That's a crazy ramp.
And, of course, the promises just keep getting bigger. Now he's saying that by version 14.3, which is supposedly just a couple months out, we'll hit true fall asleep and wake up at your destination unsupervised autonomy. The holy grail. We've heard it before, but hey, here it is again. So this is the real question, right? Is any of this actually real? Are we just a few software tweaks away from robot cars everywhere, or is this just more hype to keep the stock price up? Because from where I'm sitting, that looks like a hell of a long road to cover in a very, very short amount of time.
Okay, now for the main event. This is where it all starts to connect. Just forget the software drama for a minute. This week, a bombshell dropped that changes the entire damn game. A move into hardware that makes building cars look like playing with Legos. Seriously.
Elon's been repeating this line, this mantra over and over lately, and now we finally get why. He thinks the real, lasting value of AI isn't the code. The code is like a gas, right? It'll just fill any container. The real value is in owning the physical bottle that lets that AI actually do stuff in the real world.
And here it is. Here's the bottle he wants to build, a terafab. The plan is to stop relying on TSMC and Samsung and just start making their own goddamn AI chips. And not in some little lab, no. We're talking at a mind-boggling scale, starting at 100,000 wafer starts per month. To put that in perspective, TSMC's brand new fab in Arizona, that's only planned for 20,000. And if you want to know how hard this is, just remember the 4680 battery ramp. Remember how they promised 100 gigawatt hours by 2022, and they're still struggling to get past 20? Well, making advanced silicon chips is so much fucking harder, it's not even in the same sport. It's not in the same universe. We're talking about atomic-level surgery, where a single speck of dust can wreck everything. And the money involved is it's staggering. Samsung is building a new fab down in Texas, one that Tesla is apparently watching very closely to learn the ropes. That project started at, $17 billion? It has now ballooned to nearly $50 billion for one factory. And that price tag doesn't even cover all the infrastructure. That same Samsung fab needs its own dedicated water factory that's going to use 50 million gallons of water every single day. That's 5 times more than the entire city it's being built in uses. It is an insane undertaking. And this right here just lays out the risk perfectly. Tesla's entire capital expenditure budget for all of its projects all around the world is about $9 billion. Building just one of these terafabs could easily cost more than $10 billion. This is a bet the company level of investment. So what the hell is going on? Is this a genuine, absolutely necessary move to build an unbreachable wall around the future of AI? Or is this the most expensive, most elaborate bluff in corporate history? Just a way to put a gun to the head of TSMC and Samsung to get better prices and to get to the front of the line.
So, beyond all the chip drama, the rest of Tesla's physical AI empire had a pretty nuts week, too. It just shows you how many fronts they're fighting this war on. Let's start with this. This is an absolutely bizarre but really fascinating claim from Robert Scoble. The next version of the Optimus bot will apparently have enough dexterity to roll a cigar. Now look, who cares if it ever actually does that in a demo? That's not the point. The point is the level of fine motor control that implies. That is a massive leap forward.
And of course, Elon laid out an insanely aggressive production plan to go with it. He wants to build what he's calling the fastest production ramp ever, scaling up to 1 million robots a year out of Fremont, before building a 10 million unit line in Austin. I mean, the ambition is just completely off the charts.
Meanwhile, there's something huge and kind of quiet happening on the energy side. Tesla is solving one of the most fundamental problems with renewable energy, grid stability. Their megapacks are now using what's called grid-forming inverters to create system strength. They're basically mimicking the physical inertia of a giant spinning gas turbine. And that is a total game changer if you want to build a 100% renewable grid.
And then, in a moment of just pure uncut Elon, the Roadster demo date changed. Dramatically. In like a week. On Joe Rogan's podcast, he said the demo would be hopefully before the end of this year. A few days later at the shareholder meeting, the date was suddenly April Fool's Day, 2026. You literally cannot make this shit up.
Okay, let's just fire through a few quick updates before we try to make some sense of all this and get to the big takeaway.
And yeah, the empire just keeps expanding. The robotaxi network is already planning its next cities. SpaceX is turning into a huge Cybertruck customer, buying them by the hundreds. Key features like vehicle-to-load are unlocking in China. The trucks are landing in new places like South Korea. And on the supply side, Tesla just signed a $2 billion deal with Samsung for batteries made in the US. The machine just keeps on moving.
So it all comes back to this one idea. Software is infinite, right? Code is cheap. What's hard, what you can actually defend, is the hardware, the bottle, the cars, the robots, the batteries, and now maybe the chips themselves. That's the master plan right there. Own the physical reality where AI actually lives. This whole Terafab plan piled on top of Optimus and robotaxis and everything else, it is the biggest bet yet. And the question we're left with is pretty simple. Is Tesla building the actual physical foundation for the future of artificial intelligence? Or is this the moment they finally take on way too much, way too fast, and fly straight into the fucking sun?